Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Star Wars Gazer, where we talk about everything Star Wars and more. Recently, I started listening to the first book in the Darth Bane series called Path of Destruction. So far, it's been an amazing journey to see the path of Dez, or Bane as he is eventually called. In the first book, we are introduced to Dez, a tall, hardened miner whose life is not one of ease, but rather of difficulty and pain. Dez was born in 1026 BBY to an abusive miner on the Outer Rim planet called Apatros. After his mother died while Dez was still quite young, his father became even more abusive. His father's abusiveness was not only physical, but mental as well, to the point that he would call Dez the bane of his existence. I mean, that's pretty harsh, right? To call your own son the bane of your existence. And Apatros was a mining colony, and everyone there had a debt to pay. They paid their debt by mining. And the local cantina sold drinks and allowed gambling, and you could add whatever you bought to your debt. One day, when Dez's father died, all of his father's debt was accumulated onto his own. However, this did not leave Dez hopeless. In fact, even through all of the struggles and trials, Dez knew that he was destined for something greater. Dez, not knowing it was the Force, had powers. Powers that would allow him to know what was going to happen before it even happened. He used this power a lot to play sabacc and to win money against the Republic troopers who would land there to collect the cortosis that the miners were mining. And they would use this cortosis in armor and in weapons and different things like that. One night, after beating a fellow miner to a pulp and biting off his finger, Dez played sabacc for quite a long time and ended up beating out a Republic soldier who got very angry with Dez. And while Dez was trying to make his way home, the Republic soldier and a few of his buddies tried to jump Dez. But ultimately, Dez would kill the Republic soldier, and the soldier's friends would end up fleeing. And because of this, Dez needed to get off-world and hide. So with the help of the cantina owner, Dez escaped off-world and joined the Sith army. At this time, the Republic and the Sith Brotherhood were at war. During this time, the Sith were not a rule of two. They had a brotherhood. Sith working with Sith, former enemies, Sith enemies working together as one against the Republic. 3 years after Dez would escape, his amazing skill, his tactical prowess, and his cunning, not to mention his ability for disobeying direct orders, would land Dez an audience with the Lords of the Sith. These Lords of the Sith saw a raw and untapped potential in Dez and offered Dez the chance to become an apprentice. During this encounter, Dez would choose a new name for himself, one that would help him harness the dark side within. Bane. Bane is my name, he would tell the Sith Lords. They would teach him how to learn the dark side of the Force and learn how to harness his abilities. Bane would learn a lot, and he learned it fast. So fast that even though he began behind the other students, he would quickly pass them, and his reputation began to grow immensely among all of the students. He would use this power and this rage inside of him to kill a fellow apprentice in a challenge, and ended up using it to ultimately kill 4 other apprentices who tried to jump him. During his time as an apprentice, Bane would study all of the ancient Sith texts and would begin to understand that the Lords of the Sith that made up the Brotherhood were making the Sith weak. That the belief that the Brotherhood was in it together was a belief of the Jedi, and that such weakness needed to be done away with. In fact, the Brotherhood no longer used the term Darth, but rather Lord. This bothered Bane, and eventually he would throw off the Brotherhood and declare to them that his name was now Darth Bane. Now, I'm only through the first book in the trilogy. However, as I read this, and listened to it rather, a question kind of popped into my head, and I wanted to ask you guys. Who do you think would win in a duel? Full-powered Darkside Anakin or full-powered Darth Bane? I genuinely don't know who would win. I've been battling this in my head for a little while. Both have some amazing powers, and both are very powerful in their own respect. My heart tells me that maybe Anakin would have won because he is the chosen one, and he just kind of had some abilities with being, born of the Force that others didn't. But I'm not sure. What do you guys think? Do you guys like Darth Bane? Who would win in a duel? Anakin, Darkside Anakin, or Darth Bane? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And may the Force be with you always.